My guest today is Bill Jameison. He's the Communications Director of Lourdes Senior Community. And today we're going to talk about Lourdes Senior Community. Bill.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk about Lourdes Senior Community on Scott Lake in Waterford, along Watkins Lake Road. Back in 1948, the Dominican Sisters of Oxford started caring for the elderly along an area along Scott Lake, and eventually around 1965 they expanded to include not only the nursing home facility, but Fox Manor on the Lake, which is independent living, and Mendelson Home, which is for assisted living, and then the Clausen Home, which is for memory care, caring for people with dementia, Alzheimer's, and of course the nursing home facility is continued to expand. Right now they're getting ready for a capital campaign to build a new nursing home in stages. It's a very vibrant community. It's located in a very beautiful section of Waterford. I mean, the grounds itself, 33 acres, right on the lake, wooded pathways, very pretty facility.
How many residents does Lourdes have?
It's approximately it's around 260 in the whole complex. With all four areas, and of course it varies in the nursing home area. It varies in the memory care area. It's about between 260 and 300 people.
Now it's broken up into a number of different divisions. Can you talk about that?
Right. Well, again, it's very distinct. In fact, when you're in one building, you can't see the other buildings. So like for instance, Fox Manor on the Lake sits by itself. Mendelson Home sits by itself. Clausen and the nursing home, they sit by themselves as well. So there's four distinct areas, and a lot of activities for the independent living people, a lot of activities for the people in assisted living, and again, it's a very vibrant community.
Can you talk a little bit about independent living at Lourdes? What is independent living?
Well, independent living is just that. I mean, it's living in an apartment. You know, there are studio apartments, one-bedroom apartments, two-bedroom apartments. You know, obviously married couples living there, and sometimes, of course, widows and widowers. But independent living is like having an apartment in any other apartment complex. I mean, there's a lot of activities for the people there. I mean, they go shopping, they go to ball games, they go to the symphony, they go to DT Energy Theater, so you know they get around, and of course they can get around on their own as well. I mean, they have their own vehicles. I mean, they have most of them have their own vehicles. So I mean, it's pretty much just like living in any apartment complex.
Now, obviously, Lourdes is located in Waterford.
Right.
However, it draws from the outer lying areas,
right,
like Oxford,
yep,
Leonard, Addison.
Right. Our outreach is throughout Oakland County. I mean, even way down into Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, out here in Oxford, Lake Orion, Ortonville, Waterford, obviously. So it really, the whole Oakland County area. Interesting too that for the past 5 years, the Oakland Press, Lourdes Senior Community has been named the best in senior living in Oakland County. And so we're very proud of that, and certainly plan to keep that up.
How would you recommend families or somebody caring for an elderly person to, let's say, introduce them to Lourdes? Perhaps they're at a particular time in their life where they realize either mom and dad or grandpa
right
is ready for assisted living,
right,
and they're going to look at Lourdes. What would you do to help them feel welcome?
Well, certainly we would encourage them to come and take a tour, and they could contact us at Lourdes. I mean, I can certainly give you the phone number, and they could contact us, so we would give a tour, and depending on what their needs would be, and we think they would be very, very impressed, not only with the 5-star care, but with the environment inside the buildings, certainly the grounds themselves, I think they'd be very, very impressed taking a tour.
Talk about the rooms. If I go into Lourdes, what am I going to see, and how are the rooms set up?
You're going to see very nice rooms. Again, speaking of the independent living, I mean, you know, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom studios. You know, the other facilities are also have very comfortable rooms, very comfortable living conditions. The nursing home, again, that's one of the reasons they want to build a new nursing home to provide better care. It's going to be something like 60-some units, and it's going to be done in stages. So no one's going to be moving out during the construction. It'll be done in stages, four different phases, and so no one will be inconvenienced, having to live elsewhere during this time. And so again, that's one of the reasons we're starting a capital campaign, is to get that done. But the rooms are very, very, very nice, very spacious. The other areas, I mean, beauty salon, barber shop, exercise rooms, TV rooms, libraries. I mean, there's a lot of amenities for all the residents. And again, it's 5-star care. The staff is very, very conscious of the needs of the people. And I might emphasize too that although founded by the Dominican Sisters of Oxford, who eventually merged into becoming the Dominican Sisters of Peace, who now operate the home, the area, I should say. People of any religion, race, color, creed are more than welcome to live at Lourdes. It's not certainly it has a Catholic background, but it certainly is more than welcoming and warm welcome to non-Catholics as well. And opportunities for worship for non-Catholics is certainly provided. So.
Now you mentioned it's 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who does the rating come from?
5-star. 5-star, I mean, kind of, I guess, from that, that just in the nursing care world in general, that is kind of a term used to recognize the best care available, and certainly that honor we've received from the Oakland Press over the last 5 years, I think, bears that out. And a lot of that comes from the residents themselves, or families of residents, or who vote on those kind of things. And so it's also interesting too how there's a tremendous interest in Lourdes from people who no longer have parents living, but they still take a tremendous interest in Lourdes Senior Community. And I think that's a great endorsement, that you no longer have a mother or father or any family member living there, but you're still active in serving on the board. In fact, I was just at a meeting last Friday for the capital campaign for the nursing home. Well, most of the people in charge of this campaign no longer have parents living there. Their parents are deceased. And yet they believe so much in Lourdes that they still want to remain active in promoting Lourdes and supporting Lourdes. And I think that's a wonderful endorsement. I mean, it's one thing to endorse a place when you have someone living there, but these people no longer have people living there, and they're still very, very interested in supporting Lourdes and helping Lourdes any way they can, not only financially, but at their hard work and rolling up their sleeves to serve on boards and so on.
Now, you have a number of different levels, obviously. You have assisted living,
Mm-hmm.
which is minimal care.
Right, it's minimal care. Yeah.
Minimal care. Talk a little bit about, for those who don't quite understand, what assisted living is.
Assisting living, I guess, and having had my mother, not at Lourdes, but at a previous place, living in assisted living, it's the comfort of knowing someone is there if you need them. I mean, you're on your own in your apartment, you're on your own, going here, there, and everywhere. However, it's just that comfort level of knowing that if you need assistance in any way, someone is there 24 hours a day. And I think that's probably would sum it up best, that it's independent in some ways, but just that comfort level of knowing someone's there to help you, to assist you if needed.
And then the next step up would be what?
Well, certainly nursing care, where you need full-time care. And of course, memory care, the people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, and they obviously need very extra special care. Excuse me.
Let's talk a little bit about the staff. What can you tell me about the staff, and who or what is the staff composed of?
Okay, it's a wonderful staff. The executive staff, the people who lead the senior community are just wonderful, warm people. Very, very warm with all the residents. Very, very understanding with families of residents and other relatives of residents. The nurses and other people, the therapists, take a real keen interest in the people. I was very impressed when I first started there. I went over to the Clausen Manor, which is the area for those in memory care, dementia, Alzheimer's disease. And they were having an Hawaiian party with leis and so on and so forth, and flowers, and how they were interacting with the people who suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's. And that's not easy. It's difficult to deal with people who have Alzheimer's and dementia. My father had Alzheimer's disease, and it can be very difficult dealing with them, but their warmth toward them and their understanding was just wonderful to see. I was just so impressed by how they were with those folks. And you see the same thing in the nursing care and the assisted living as well. And of course the people who live in independent living, the relationship they have with activities directors and so on and so forth. And it's a very warm atmosphere.
I'm David Custer, and I'm really excited about our new show, Let's Take a Walk. We are going to hit the streets in your community, and we're going to check in with local businesses and show you what's cool and unique and why you should stop into their stores. We're going to meet great business owners, we're going to eat great food, we're going to do great things. So tune in to our show, Let's Take a Walk, because I promise it'll be a good time.
Hi, I'm Ken LaPlace, and I'm the new director here at OCTV, and I'm on a recruiting mission. I want you to join us. Here at OCTV, we're launching a new revolution in public access television, one that's going to take us in a direction that's exciting and challenging. We're not just going to make videos here, we're going to make real movies. Movies, for example, with real Hollywood equipment, just like you see here. We're going to make exciting videos for online, things that you'll be interested in, and you're going to have a real creative mind to join us, but that's what I want. And then we'll be able to take all that creativeness that you have and be able to put that into our editing systems here, some of the finest software packages on the market. We'll teach you how to do animation. We'll teach you how to do motion graphics and put together your videos. And yes, like I said, we'll be able to do some really cool movies here. We'll be able to do that because we have a lot of equipment that you, as a movie maker and video person, will love. For example, we've got all the lighting utensils here. We have plenty of sound gear. Say you want to become a TV reporter. Well, we have an entire set here, and I'll be able to teach you how to be a multimedia journalist, and you'll be able to take that information and hopefully maybe you can get a job. I've been in the business for over 30 years, and I intend to teach you how to take my experience and use it for your benefit. And of course, we've got sound stages. We're going to do all kinds of bands and interviews, and I need your creative minds to be able to say, hey, look, I can help you dress this out. I can tell you what kind of shows I want, but it's going to take you. I'm on a mission. I need your help. OCTV, come on down, talk to me. Again, I'm Ken LaPlace. Ever heard of memory care? Is that something new?
That's a terminology used, and I think it's an appropriate term. When you're talking about people who have Alzheimer's and dementia, I think it's a more respectful term. And the whole theme of memory care is to help people, despite Alzheimer's, despite dementia, that they continue to enjoy living. And I think that Hawaiian party I mentioned is a good example of that.
Talk about that.
Those people were just having a ball. I mean, just with Hawaiian music, and they had Hawaiian shirts on, and they had flowers, little Hawaiian flowers in their hair, and including the staff. And they were just having a wonderful time. Now, here are people with Alzheimer's and dementia, and certainly you can fall into depression when you've got those kind of diseases, as I'm sure you would know with your mother having undergone that. And yet these people were just having a wonderful time, just enjoying life. And so I think the term memory care is a very respectful way of talking about the diseases they have.
Now, is Lourdes affiliated with any hospital?
No, not directly, but certainly hospitals feed into Lourdes, St. Joseph's in Pontiac and McLaren and so on, Beaumont. They certainly can direct people to us, to our nursing care rehab facilities, absolutely, yeah. But we're not owned by a hospital. I mean, it's run by the Dominican Sisters of Peace, which is a merger with some Dominican communities. And Dominican Sisters of Peace are based in, their mother house is in Columbus, Ohio. The CEO of Lourdes is Sister Maureen. She is an Adrian Dominican, but they have an affiliation also with the Dominican Sisters of Peace. All Dominican sisters are somehow related, even if, whether it's Dominican Sisters of Peace, Adrian Dominicans, so on and so forth. So, but Sister Maureen is she's the CEO of Lourdes Senior Community.
Obviously, for the nursing care, there's is there a medical staff, not just nurses, but is there a medical staff on duty 24 hours? Is there a doctor there?
There are medical personnel there 24 hours a day to care for people, yes. And doctors make frequent visits, caring for people and so on. So yes, there's always medical personnel on hand.
Let me ask you this. Does Lourdes ever have or consider, let's say we're going to I'm going to put my mother into Lourdes. Psychologically, that does something to them. My mother is old-fashioned. She's European.
Right.
To her, at 80 years old, to be placed into a nursing home means that's the end.
Exactly.
I'm gone.
I agree.
I'm going to go there to die. To get somebody like my mother into a nursing home, do they have any kind of transitional care or help for them to help them understand that this is not the end?
There are. We have a social worker. We have counselors on staff to relate to the residents, and of course families as well. And I can certainly relate to that. My mother was hesitant to go into assisted living. Independent living, much less leaving her home. I mean, leaving a home can be traumatic for a senior. To go from a home to an apartment, for instance, in independent living can be traumatic for some seniors, much less going to assisted living or nursing care. But there are people on staff who certainly can deal with the residents on that and talk to them about that this is not the end, and to show them what a vibrant community it is. And also, too, another thing you see a lot of at Lourdes is a tremendous interaction with the other residents. I mean, having spent some time at the assisted living facility and the nursing care facility, there's a camaraderie there with the other residents, and I think that helps them. That helps ease the transition, probably more than anything. Knowing that you've got people there, like you, who probably went through the same thing, and they're almost, de facto counselors, Right. And so that's very beneficial. Then the camaraderie between the residents is wonderful, and that I think. That scenario that you're providing, yes, there's social workers, yes, there's staff people, but I think the primary way they get eased into the community is the residents themselves, who've been through that themselves. At some point they had to leave their homes. At some point they had to go into assisted living, and so.
Now does Lourdes encourage like a sort of a reciprocity? In other words, allowing family members easy access
Oh, absolutely.
to their quote, loved one.
Absolutely.
And I think the biggest thing with my mother was that she felt that once she went into a nursing home, that she would have a hard time being able to get out because
Yeah.
she felt it was like you perhaps imprisoned.
Right.
She wanted to go home
Right.
from time to time. So
Right.
that's a big, I would say, a big fear that they have.
Right. Well, Lord certainly encourages that, families coming to visit. The common areas, so-called the common areas, besides the rooms themselves, offer many just real comfortable surroundings to be with your loved ones, the dining areas. In fact, there are some private rooms off of the dining room, for instance, if you would want to have, say, a family birthday party, or you wanted to have a family celebration of any kind, where you could have a private room adjacent to the dining room, where you could have a party. And of course, you could have a party right in your own room if you want, but there's areas to do that. So the common areas and the rooms themselves are very welcoming to families to come and come visit their loved ones and spend time with them, and take them out if possible, to take them out, and so on.
Right. Having working in the business here, my question would be, what would you recommend family members who are looking for a place to take care of their family member? What are some of the points that they should look for when they're going to go seek out an assisted living or even a nursing home?
I would think, for instance, independent living, that's a decision made by the people themselves. But as far as assisted living, nursing care, I think the primary thing is care. What kind of care am I going to get? What are the living facilities? The environment. Again, even our campus. I mean, the 33 acres of lake view and wooded areas and pathways and so on and so forth, and nice gazebos and things. That falls into place too. But I think the main thing you want is, what kind of care am I going to get? What kind of care are my relatives going to get? Again, what are the living conditions? And certainly their spiritual needs. How are their spiritual needs being met? That's a very important aspect for people. But I think those would be the main things. And also to kind of backtrack on the one thing you said too about residents having to be put at ease about, well, this is the end. I think sometimes family members need to get their arms around that too, that it's not the end. That just because I'm sending mom or dad to this place does not mean I'm sending them someplace to die. I'm sending them to a community where they can be very active, where they can be cared for if they need assisted living or any other care they may need. And so families need sometimes to be convinced too that, or maybe even have a guilt complex that, I'm sending my parents away to die, and you're not. You're not sending them away to die. You're sending them into a more comfortable facility and where they're taken care of and they're safe.
I'm going to hit you with the big question. I'm
Ooh.
sure that a lot of families have on their mind, and I did too. But it's something we have to deal with. And that question is, without getting into specific costs, would you say Lourdes is competitively well priced?
Yes.
Or is it higher range, lower range? How would you assess Lourdes?
I'd say right in the Oakland County area and some other nearby counties as well. I think Lourdes' fees are very, very competitive, and of course sometimes you get involved with Medicare and Medicaid, and honoring that as well. And so I think the cost is very, very competitive, and we certainly encourage people to come on and take a tour and get that further information and to meet the staff, see the facilities, and also to interact with some of the residents. The residents are always very welcoming to visitors.
Right.
So it's almost like they're visit their own. I mean, I know myself personally. I walk into a place and the residents are chit-chatting with me as if I'd be their mom or dad or anyone else. So or their son or daughter. So.
Another thing that I realize, again, having worked with my mother in the nursing home, that nursing homes in general are not always used for people who are there on a permanent basis. There's also the convalescent aspect of it, that people who obviously are perhaps have a surgery, need a place to go for post-care. And does Lourdes provide that?
Yes. I mean, being the nursing home is that. It's a nursing home rehab facility, not necessarily a permanent residence. Permanent residents would be, Fox Manor, Mendelssohn, and Clawson, of course. So yes, they receive the best rehab care, and they receive, nursing care. And another interesting thing too about Lourdes is certainly, married couples living there. There may be an instance where someone is in Fox Manor independent living, and his or her spouse needs nursing care or needs to move into assisted living. You can separate them. You can separate them to the sense where the husband or wife lives in one spot and the spouse lives in the other spot, and of course they're right on the same campus, so they don't have to get into a car to go see their loved one. So in other words, if you're living in independent living and you have a spouse in assisted living, you can walk to see that person.
I'm David Custer, and I'm really excited about our new show, Let's Take a Walk. We are going to hit the streets in your community, and we're going to check in with local businesses and show you what's cool and unique and why you should stop into their stores. We're going to meet great business owners, we're going to eat great food, we're going to do great things. So tune in to our show, Let's Take a Walk, because I promise it'll be a good time.
Well, you have any final?
No, I would just say, to make sure we get our phone number up there to, give us a call, and the number is, I got to look at my cheat sheet here. Please bear with me. 248-674-2241. Give us a call, and I can give you another number as well.
Go ahead.
248-673-1720. In fact, that would probably be the better number, 248-673-1720. Call there, and we'd love to give interested people a tour, and think they'd enjoy it.
Now, who do they ask for if they go there?
Well, they could just ask for anyone. Say I'm interested in a tour, and someone will make arrangements for them.
All right, Bill.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
All right. Well, thank you,
Appreciate
Ken.
that.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.